bankruptcies, heavy debt loads, and changing a mainstay in pop culture and lunchboxes for more than 80 years.
Twinkie. That's a big Twinkie.
The Twinkie is an American icon.
I was never had a Twinkie before.
Cake stuffed with cream even made it into the National Millennium Time Capsule.
When you think about kind of the pantheon of food brands, there aren't a ton that kind of rise to the level of Twinkies.
But two bankruptcies, heavy debt loads, and changing tastes pushed Twinkies off shelves and almost to their death.
People were starting to sell boxes of Twinkies on eBay.
As an outsider, this makes me feel like it tastes a little bit of vanilla, banana, and cream.
Someone who has started puberty.
People were starting to sell boxes of Twinkies on eBay for $1,000 a pop. I mean, just crazy stuff, right? It was like the death of a piece of Americana.
But just when everyone thought that they were gone for good, Twinkies rose again. So what happened?
Yeah, what happened?
Twinkies were invented in Schiller Park, Illinois in 1930. This guy, James Dewar, managed a bakery plant at the start of the Depression. He wanted to make better use of expensive strawberry shortcake equipment sitting unused when strawberries weren't in season. So he stuck banana cream in a shortcake. Dewar sold the Twinkies in packs of 2 for 5 cents. When bananas were rationed during World War II, the simple vanilla cream we know today became the filling. In the next 2 decades, Twinkies and its parent brand Hostess dominated the packaged cake market. Marketed to children in everything from TV commercials to Batman comics, Twinkies rose to the status of a cultural icon.
You're getting ready for school. Here's a swell dessert that you can take along with you. A package of 2 big Hostess Twinkies.
The Hostess snack cemented
its... Guys, can I be honest, dude? This does not make me want to buy the product. What is that, dude? This is just scary.
The Hostess snack cemented itself in kids' lunchboxes across America.
It was an affordable indulgence for families. It was just so woven into the fabric of the culture of America.
The actor of this is right there.
The brand introduced its mascot, Twinkie the Kid.
It's Twinkie the Kid! Yahoo!
The anthropomorphic cowboy.
Guys, the guy in that scene, guys, he's right there, man. Look at it.
Twinkie became popular among kids for sharing his namesake cakes. But growing talk of Twinkie's high sugar content would soon butt heads with the brand's kid-friendly marketing. First, the Federal Trade Commission came down on Hostess for false nutritional claims. The agency concluded that sugar was the main ingredient in Twinkies. And then in '79, the trial of a San Francisco man charged with murdering the mayor gave rise to the term Twinkie defense. The defense team argued he had diminished capacity thanks to his addiction to Twinkies. And the murder charges were lessened to manslaughter. It was a trial that balked at the wholesome cake brand Hostess was trying to build.
Fresh, wholesome Hostess meets my tough standards. So when I say yes, it's Hostess.
Then began a string of new owners for Hostess. In the 70s, telephone company
Wait, that's so unfair.
ITT ran Twinkie's parent company. In the 80s, dog food maker Purina acquired Hostess. And a decade later, it landed under its final owner, Interstate Bakeries Corporation. The sale created the largest baking company in the US, with at its peak 58 factories, over 10,000 delivery routes, a boost in Twinkie sales, and $3.2 billion in total sales. But in the late 90s, America's changing tastes would soon spell trouble for the sugar-packed Twinkies.
Guys, this is where they're wrong. Dude, America's taste changing? Dude, sugar and fat, these never got a taste.
With the growing popularity of low-carb, Atkins, and later the South Beach diets, some Americans were becoming more health-conscious. Loaded with calories, sugar, and preservatives most people hadn't heard of, let alone could pronounce, Twinkies became a casualty of the health revolution. Sales fell and then flattened. In October of '98, because of missed earnings, shares dropped 25% in just one day. But it wasn't just the product that was the problem. Pensions and raw goods got too costly. As other food companies were modernizing manufacturing, Hostess ran inefficient factories, operating at 54% capacity utilization.
That's very poor in the manufacturing world.
The company also relied on a tired delivery system.
A DSD model, direct store delivery model, has really high costs because you've got trucks, drivers, gas, insurance that you have to pay for. And you're going to every store in America every few days to drop off product.
Delivery alone ate up 36% of revenue.
An important way to capture this moment in time would be by filling a national time capsule.
In 1999, President Bill Clinton included a Twinkie and the National Millennium Time Capsule. So Twinkies still had a huge fan base, but by then the damage to Hostess's bottom line had been done. By 2004, with $700 billion in debt, Twinkies' parent company Interstate filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Over the next 5 years, Interstate cut 7,000 employees and shut down 8 factories. The company came out of bankruptcy in
Wait, who is $700 billion in debt?
2009 and rebranded itself Hostess Brands. But it didn't work.
But unfortunately, many of the legacy problems that really hampered the company.
Oh, the USA, chat, what is the current debt of America? Isn't it like in the trillions or whatever?
Didn't get solved through that bankruptcy.
Then the recession took a huge hit on Hostess's bottom line, with year-over-year sales down 20%. To make matters worse, a worker strike and labor disputes soon followed.
That fight turned into production stopping, and the management team then threatened to shut the company down, given pressure from its creditors. And that's exactly what happened.
That's insane, dude.
By January 2012, with nearly $1 billion in debt, Hostess Brands filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy again.
The company that makes Twinkies, Wonder Bread, and Ding Dongs announced this morning that it is going out of business.
In November, Twinkies were pulled from shelves, and headlines across the country reported the death of Twinkies.
Customers started, honestly losing their minds over it.
People who would have never cared about the Twinkies, in fact, suddenly wanted them, right? Or thought, oh my God, well, this is going on forever.
The rush was on to grab the last of those tasty treats.
People scrambled to get the last Twinkies off those store shelves.
It was like the death of a piece of Americana.
In December 2012, Hostess began laying off all its employees. Things were looking bad for Hostess.
God, I didn't sleep, dude.
But this guy still saw value.
What was the I'm fake laughing, dude? And I want you to be happy, dude. Be happy, dude, and a smiley face for once, dude. Look at, I didn't sleep. I'm sleep deprived. I think
and the nostalgia attached to the brand.
There was a real brand here, and it's hard to build a good brand.
Andy is half of the duo credited with saving the Twinkies.
If you poll people age 20 and over, there's 95% brand awareness. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's not every day that you can buy a brand like this that's ubiquitous in consumers' mind and has leading market share, had $1 billion in revenues, and an 80-year legacy.
After the second bankruptcy, Andy approached legendary investor Dean Metropoulos about joining him in rescuing Hostess. Dean had turned around
Bumblebee Tuna, Chef Boyardee, Classic Pickles, Half Blue Ribbon. Dean's reputation historically really fit well for this.
But unlike the first Hostess bankruptcy, in 2012, there was no coming out of it with a simple restructure.
That bankruptcy process was unique because it turned into a true liquidation and what's known as a 363 asset sale process.
Basically, what was left of Hostess was sold for parts. Instead of having to inherit that expensive delivery system, underfunded pension plans, and old union contracts, Andy could cherry pick what he and Dean actually wanted and forget the rest. So the two showed up to the 363 asset sale, ready to fight for Hostess.
Not one buyer showed up
other
than us. Anybody could have showed up and topped our bid, and nobody showed up. It was frankly very surprising to me.
Andy and Dean purchased Hostess for $410 million. Out of the sale, they got the Hostess brands, including Twinkie, recipes, and 5 factories.
That's it. There was no employees, there was no ingredients, there was no inventory, and I have to tell you, it was very odd during diligence walking through plants where when you walk in, they're empty, and the person who's walking you through the plant has to turn on the lights.
And quickly, Andy and Dean got to work fixing the company.
That's a good story.
First, they tackled that delivery system.
The old company did direct store delivery. We were going to transform it into a distribution to warehouse.
Okay, chat.
Instead of going direct to every grocery store in America, you then
look
go to
at this
Walmart's
disaster.
distribution centers or
NA
Kroger's
obesity,
distribution centers
13
instead,
colony
and then they
lead,
ship it out
lost
to
to
their
a
various
rat.
stores.
But in order to move Twinkies through a warehouse, they first had to increase the shelf life. Historically, Twinkies only lasted 25 days.
People would put Twinkies in their earthquake shelters because everybody had this perception that Twinkies would last forever. That really wasn't the case.
Andy and Dean